Hello, hello, it's probably Sharon. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to play with matte photo paper and some Distress Oxides and inks, whether it's spray or pads or re-inkers. We're just going to see how the matte photo paper reacts with these different colors. And then at the end, we're going to make a cute little tag together. So I'll show you how you can use those background papers. So let's get started. I'm excited to get started. Today we are using matte photo paper. It's double-sided. It's 48 pound or 180G. I just got this on Amazon and I'll put the link for that below. I've cut it into smaller pieces, as you can see, so kind of the size of a card or a tag. I just thought it would be easier to manage if we do smaller ones. So to start off with, I'm going to spray this little piece of paper on both sides. And the reason I'm spraying it on both sides is because obviously when you only spray it on one side, it curls. And if you have it wet on both sides, it will lay flat for us, at least for the most part. So the next thing I want to do is I'm just going to get a piece of bubble wrap. And oh, by the way, the reason I'm using matte photo paper is because the results are different. I feel like the colors are more vibrant than if you use cardstock. And also, when the ink and everything is dry, after you let it dry, it won't reactivate if you get it wet. So there's a couple of reasons why I'm using matte photo paper. Okay, so I've just got a little piece of bubble wrap, and I'm taking Distress ink pumice stone, and I'm just going to rub that all over the bubble wrap. It's hard to see because of the color, kind of a light color, so it's kind of blending right in. Okay, so, and you know, we've already sprayed this with water, but I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but some parts of it are starting to look dry already. So this is really soaking up the water. I'm just going to spray a little bit more, and then I'm going to turn my bubble wrap over and just kind of smush it. Let it sit there for, you know, a few seconds so that color can get into the paper. I'll lift that off, and then I'm just going to do a little bit down here at the bottom, since this piece was not quite tall enough for the whole card. We'll just do a little bit here on the bottom too. Doesn't look quite as well or quite as good as the top, but it'll work. Okay, so let's set that aside. All right, so we can let this just air dry, or you can use a heat tool. Actually, I'm going to blot up this excess water. It'll help it dry faster. Okay, so yeah, you can let it air dry, or I could use the heat tool to help it along a little bit. I'm actually just going to set this aside so that we can move on to the next one. We'll come back and finish this one in a little bit. Where can I put it where it's not going to wreck everything? Okay, let me just kind of clean up this water and stuff. I'm just going to get another little piece of matte photo paper. Okay, on this one, I am going to use, I think I'll use walnut stain. I think this is walnut stain. Nope, it's scorched timber. I'm going to use scorched timber Distress ink, and I'm just going to use it right from the pad. On this particular card, my goal is to kind of get most of the back of it colored. I don't want it to be stark white, so I kind of want a base. I'm just going to turn this upside down on the mat and just smush some ink down there. And then I'm going to take the spray bottle and just spritz a little bit of water. And maybe kind of run my finger through, kind of so you don't have that square shape everywhere. All right, now I'm just going to take the photo paper and put it right down in that. And like I said, I'm trying to kind of cover the whole back of it. So let's see. Oh, look at that. And I could have used multiple colors. I didn't have to just use one color, but for this card, I just thought it would be nice just to have the one color, and we can layer things on top of it when it dries. So that looks really awesome. Okay. Usually, when I have extra ink, I have like a blotting paper I'll put down just to soak up that extra ink. And I'll use it on multiple, after multiple cards or backgrounds. And then it's just covered with different colors. And it's nice because after it's all dry, you can do stamping on it and stuff and cut it out and use it for little bits and pieces in your journal. And you have all these different colors, all random. But unfortunately, I didn't have one ready right now. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside as well. I mean, there's a little bit of white in there, but I'm happy with how that turned out. That was, again, Scorched Timber Distress ink. Okay, I'm going to do one more. On this one, I think I will do, let's try the Distress Oxide spray, and the color is Stormy Sky. The oxide spray, you really need to shake it up because all the stuff kind of settles to the bottom, so you really need to shake it up well. I'm just going to spray this right on the mat. And then I think I'm going to do another color as well. Let's do Rusty Hinge. Nope, this is tea dye. Where's my Rusty Hinge? Oh well. We'll use tea dye. All right, and I'm just going to spritz a little bit of this too. Kind of in between. All right, now I'm just going to put the tiniest bit of water on this one. And then put the card right down in the color. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I want to make sure I get a lot of the orange too. Let's do this. Oh, wow. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm going to try to get a little bit on that corner. Oh, wow. I love that. Okay. I'm going to grab a piece of paper to kind of blot this up because it's going to make me crazy wasting all that ink. This is photo paper. This is thinner photo paper, actually. 32 pound. So it's a little bit thinner. It's kind of like copy paper. Well, a little bit thicker than copy paper, but we got some of it up. I know, this is silly. I just don't like to waste ink. I mean, it's, everything costs money, so if you can make it go a little further and use it for something else, why not? Clean this up. This one really got everywhere, so. All right, let's go back to the first one we did with the polka dots and the bubble wrap. And this is still a little bit damp, so I'm just going to try to finish drying this mostly so we can move on. Okay, it's still a little bit damp. I can feel that it's a little bit damp, but I think it's good enough to move on. So I'm just going to lay that down, and I'm going to do a stencil over the top of this. So this is the one that I chose. We can put that on there. I wonder if we should do it like this, so that these dots, yeah, can be towards the bottom. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Vintage Photo Distress Oxide, and keeping in mind the stencil, it has little tiny bits. See how, these little bits? So I want to pay attention to that and maybe drag it out this way. So, because if I go this way, I might bend those little bits. So, yeah, just going to kind of drag it. Trying to get some of this oxide ink on this stencil. I'm not trying to push it through the stencil. I'm just trying to kind of lay it on top of the stencil. That looks really pretty good. Okay, and then this down here, I'm just going to try to kind of go in the middle of that leaf. All right, and then I was thinking on the leaf, I think I'm going to get some distress crayons and maybe just put a little touch of forest moss. Kind of around that leaf a little bit. So maybe we'll have a little bit of green there. I mean, since it's a leaf, we'll see what happens. I mean, that's not the best green, right? It's kind of, I don't know, baby poop green. Okay. Now we've got our stencil all inked up. Move our paper over here. All right, so let's see. I wonder if I need to put a little water on the back again. It's still kind of damp, so maybe it'll be okay. All right. Now, I mean, we've got our Vintage Photo Oxide. Now I'm going to take the re-inker, the Vintage Photo Distress Oxide re-inker, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this straight on the stencil. So it's going to be really concentrated wherever I put this. But it'll give a cool result. So I'm just going to maybe put just a little bit here and there, mostly in the middle, I think. Sorry. I've been using this Vintage Photo a lot, the same little bottle, for the last couple of weeks. And I was thinking yesterday, I'm like, I better order another one because I'm sure it's, halfway gone. And no, I was looking at it and it's still full. It's like, how is that even possible? I've been using it like crazy and it's still totally full. So, all right. So now I'm going to spritz a little bit of water on the card. And I'm going to put some water on the stencil, just a little bit to help get those, the oxide ink moving around. Look, I have little splatters there. That's okay. All right, now we're going to flip it around and put it down. Woo! This ink goes flying. Okay. Now it's a good idea at this point to get, where is it? I had something ready. Just like an acrylic block or something, just to make sure it's all, it's in contact with the paper. And some kind of even pressure, And we're just going to leave it here, just not very long, just 20, 30 seconds maybe. And then we'll lift it up and see what we've got. It's so cool because you can do the same stencil, the same colors, same paper, you know, everything the same. And you will never get the same result twice. It's like amazing. Sorry, I don't have an acrylic block this big, so I had to get into my sewing supplies. So that's that. Okay, let's lift this up and see what we've got. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Let me get my blotter paper, put this on. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just going to blot up some of this extra liquid. Oh my gosh, look at that, you guys. Ah, oh, it's like a surprise party, right? You take the cover off and voila. Oh my gosh, I love it. Look at that. It looks almost like the image is burned into the paper, doesn't it? Especially like up here. Look how cool that is. And my idea with the green crayon didn't work so well, but that's okay. The leaf still looks pretty cool. And then, you know, if it's horrible, you can always cover it up with something else when you're making your tag or whatever. Oh my gosh, I just love that. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, I could just keep looking at it. It's amazing. Okay, let's see. Let's get our blotter paper. Sorry, this is probably not what you want to watch right now, but get some of that, use up some of that ink. Make some cool design that we can use in something else later. Yeah, got part of a flower. That's kind of cool. All right. So now we've used little pieces of we use little pieces of the matte photo paper. Now I'm going to do a whole sheet because I have a big stencil that I want to use. So I thought we could just do a whole big sheet. So again, I'm using the matte photo paper, and this is the 48 pound or 180 GSM. So again, I am going to spray water on both sides. Make sure this is in frame. And you know, another thing that you can do is if you don't want the stark white, you want to give it a little help hiding that white in the background. This is just instant coffee. I put in a little spray bottle. And since we're saturating the paper anyway, why not add a little coffee? It doesn't have to be perfect. Just helps break up all that white. All right, the stencil I'm using, and I do have a blotter paper ready for this one because, yeah, I'm going to use this one. I guess they call it Harlequin, diamonds, whatever. It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. I don't know why. I'm just going to place that down. And it's close to the size of the paper, so that's nice. And see, now, since it's wet, it's going to kind of stick. The stencil's going to kind of stick. I do have some ink on here from the last time I used it, but that's okay. That'll just give us, you know, extra character. Now, I couldn't rub my oxide pad or my ink pad over it because it would contaminate it with what's on here. But on this one, I'm going to use spray. So let's see. I think I'm going to start with Stormy Sky Oxide Spray. Carefully. It'd be really pretty. And then I think I want to put some spray stain, frayed burlap. Just a little bit, just to kind of give it more interest. Oh, that's cool. It already looks cool and I haven't taken it off yet. All right. Let's just give it a little more water. And then I'm going to take a blotter paper and just lay it over the top. Let's see. And this is another photo paper. This is the thinner one, the 32 pound. I just want to soak up that extra stuff that was laying on top of the stencil. And use this for something else later. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, look at that. Wow. You know, I was using just regular paper to blot on some of the stuff I've been working on, but I think it really makes a big difference to use, even for the blotter paper, using photo paper. That is amazing. Look at that, the blue and the brown. I kind of don't like the white here, but, you know, that's awesome. Sorry, I'm just geeking out over here. Okay, now let's go ahead and take this off. See what we got. Oh, wow. I don't know which one I like better, honestly. The blotter or the actual piece. See, with having the coffee, spraying the coffee, it really helped a lot, covering up the white. So now I could take the stencil and shift it. You know, and try to fill in. Let's actually do that. See, what color would I want to do, though? I'm just going to cover up the one that we just did. So we're going to work on the blank spaces. What color should I do? Maybe, should we do old paper? I don't know if that's going to show up, though. What about tea dye? You know, it's just the spray stain. Let's try the tea dye. Now, should I? Yep, I blotted up the water, so I'm going to add a little bit more because we want this to move. Wow, that one spray, I'm sure you all saw that. It went right off of the, right off the mat. Okay. Now I'm going to get the blotter. Oh, I don't know if I want to mess up that blotter paper, though, because it already looks so cool. Let me get another paper. Not photo paper. Wow, that looks pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of Halloween or fall. Cool beans. Okay, now let's look at this one. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. Oh my gosh, I love all the different colors we have in there. My mind is racing with what I can do with this. This is awesome. So, you know, let's go back to the little papers. Just pick this up if I can. Rumba. Okay, set this aside. Let's get the little ones that we did, because we did the sunflower on one of them. But other two need a little something. So I'm actually going to use this because I want to make little like dots, and you can't really do that on the glass part, but it works a lot better on that for making little dots with the ink. You know, you can save, I know I'm wiping everything up, but I have a tutorial on how to use napkins in your junk journals. And these cleanup towels work so well for stuff like that, because you can, peel the plies apart and, do the whole, well, I can't explain it all right now, but you can make some really cool tags and stuff with that. And it's just cleanup towels. So you're really not wasting any ink at all, even on the cleanup towels. Okay, let's do, these are the two that we need give a little help to. So let's start with the blue. Yeah, let's do vintage photo. Okay, this is oxide. So, and you can do more than one color. You don't have to always stick with one color. Let's actually, we'll do a little bit of the scorched timber ink and try not to mix them up. All right, now I am just going to spritz a little bit of water on this and kind of break it up so you don't see those squares. Try anyway. Seems like sometimes you just get those squares anyway. Okay, so this one's pretty much dry. I'm just going to very lightly tap it in. I need a little bit more. See, it's always different. Okay, so we got a little bit there. I'm going to try to do some up here. Oh, that looks really nice. I like that. I don't think I want to do more. I think it looks good that way. I like how it has, okay, I say I'm not going to do it and then I do it. Yeah, I like that. So we're just going to set that aside to dry. And let me get my blotter. Blot up some of this. Waste not, want not, right? You guys are probably thinking I'm crazy. Boy, she doesn't waste a single bit. Okay, we have one last card, and this one is the one that we put scorched timber ink, and so it's really dark. What can we put on this one? Okay, so I just got the pad, and I'm going to, just like before, and for fun, I think I am going to put a little bit of the tea dye spray, oxide spray. A little bit of water. All right, here we go. Dip that in there. I kind of feel like it's going to be too big. Yeah, they're going to be big splotches instead of little ones. I mean, that looks kind of cool. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to let all of these dry. And maybe we will make some stuff with what we have created. So I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. It's been like 24 hours since I did that first part of the video. Time just got away from me. I got sidetracked. So everything's dry. This is so cool. We'll just look at these really quick, what we have made with the inks and oxides. Really pretty. So I thought we could try to make something. Just trying to decide which one I want to start with. Let's do this one. Let's start with this one. I know I've already recorded probably a half an hour worth of stuff, so I don't know how many we're going to do. We might just be doing one, but I just wanted to give you some ideas of what you could do when you make these backgrounds. So let's see, we've got some bits and pieces I've pulled aside. First, I think I want to cut this into a tag shape. Flip that around. That way both sides will match. Now I think I want to do a little bit of inking around the edges, just to kind of pull everything into the middle. And I'm going to go for scorched timber. Yeah, I was surprised when I looked at the timestamp on the first part of the video, and it was like 32 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was recording that long. So, of course, I don't want it to be, too much longer because, well, that's a long time to sit and watch a video. So I'm sure when I edit it, I'll be able to shave some of that down, but still. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right. Now, I think I want to also do some stamping, some mark making, something in the back. Let's decide what we're going to put on it first. Got this piece of burlap. I'm going to try to put that in there somewhere. I have some little bits and pieces in here, just random things. And I'm going to use a paper doll. I don't think I've used these yet, paper dolls. I've had them for a while, but I've not used them. I think I've used one of the little portrait ones, but I don't think I've actually used any of these yet. So I thought it might be fun to try this out. So just try to decide. I wanted to do a man one because I'm always doing feminine things. So I think we'll do this guy. And then the I want to use this too. This is off of one of my digitals. I'll put the link below for that. It's just I think it's called Mercantile Labels or something like that. This is one of the pieces out of that. So I think I want to use that too. It's a good thing I went with this guy. He has a mustache. The other guy doesn't have a mustache. So that works. Okay. So like I said, I want to do some mark making and some stamping on the background. So I just kind of want to see where I need to put that where it'll be visible. I mean, there's no sense stamping somewhere that's going to be covered up. Okay, he's sitting, so let's make something for him to sit on. This is just something I printed off on the computer. And I've already, of course, inked around the edges and stuff. Oh, is that too big? It looks like it'll fit barely. So this one. Oh, I haven't used this one before. I didn't realize how big it was. I thought it was just this part. So this is the design I want. So I probably just ink part of it. So let's see. I'm going to use a brown. I don't want to do the scorched timber. It's too dark. So let's do vintage photo ink. And I'm not going to put this on a block because I just want to use parts of it. Maybe like that. Excuse me. Okay. That aside. And then I've got one out that says for scale and amusement only. I think this is off of a Tim Holtz. I'll put the link below. I'll find out which one it was and put the link below for it. So I'm going to put this, where is this going to show up? If I have it up here, probably not enough room. Yeah, you're not going to see it unless I go. Nope, because then the burlap will be covering it. Let's do it on the bottom, maybe here. And I think I'm just going to use black. I'm not going clear to the bottom because I think I will be doing some stitching around the edges, and so I don't want to sew across the top of the ink. So that works. Looks good. And yeah, I think I have a number 3. We'll put a number 3 maybe up in the corner up here. We'll do that in black as well. There. Pretty good. All right. Off to a good start. Okay. So I've already inked around the edge of this. I don't know if I already mentioned that. Okay. Let's try to figure out where we want this. I don't want that edge. I want it to be kind of rough. I'll just trim that off. There we go. And to figure out, I'm going to have to go stitch around the edges, but I am going to think, let's see, I want to put something on the back just to make it a little more sturdy. I mean, it's pretty thick, but I want to put something on the back just to make it a little more sturdy. So let's kind of decorate what we can do and then, sew that on when we're doing the sewing the back on as well. And I'm not going to go all the way to the outside edge because I'm going to let it overlap a little bit, and then once it's sewn, I'll just trim off what I need to. I got some of this Fabri-Tac on my fingernails, and I went to wipe it off, and it took the polish with it. Like clear to the nail, like not just a little bit, it took all of it off. I was like, oh my gosh, need to be careful with that. I'm just going to put it right on here. Hey, that looks good. Trim this off a little bit. Oops. Yeah, come on. You can do it. Put your back into it. All right, and then just trying to Yeah, I think I just need to leave a little bit of a gap there because they're just too close to the same color. Now, normally I would probably be using just the Elmer's glue, but since I'm trying to glue this onto burlap, that's why I'm using the Fabri-Tac. Because of course the Fabri-Tac is more expensive, so I try to just use it when I have to. Okay. Nice. All right, now let's look at the mustache wax. Right up against the top, or do I want to put it more in the middle? I guess it depends on what should we name him. Looks like a Frank. Yeah, we'll call him Frank. I'm just trying to think where I want to put the eyelet later. Or I don't have to put it in the middle on the top, do I? Put it wherever I want. So it's okay for it to be over there. All right. Use the Elmer's for this one. You know, I often think when I'm making these tags that take a while to make and have a lot of detail and I put a lot of time into them, I always think, you know, it's too bad that there's only enough room on the back of it for like a paragraph. You know, it's like I wish there was more room. I do like making those notebook tags though, so it's like this would be the cover and you would have multiple pages behind it. That's always nice because you have your tag shape, but then you have extra pages. I should do a video on that because they're like one of my favorites. Okay, and then I don't know if I want to put him on quite yet. I'm gonna have to wait for this Fabri-Tac to dry a little bit. I think I don't really want to run my sewing machine through wet Fabri-Tac. Here, we can at least get this stuck down and then it'll be, everything can dry at once before I go and sew it. Don't really need a whole lot because, like I said, I'm going to be sewing around the edges. I just want it to be held in place. So we'll just use a little bit of glue stick. And it won't warp the paper. Sorry, warp the paper. You know, keep it in place. All right, I just went and have sewn around the edge. So I'm just going to trim the excess off. And I think we're almost done. There's a couple more things we need to do. Let's just ink that a little bit more so we can hide that white. Kind of like how that's frayed on the edge like that. All right, perfect. Okay, let's clean up this mess a little bit. Okay, so I need to put the man, Frank. We need to put Frank on here. And I think I'm going to do an eyelet or at least a hole here. Yeah, not too bad. Now it's, do I want to put an eyelet or do a paper circle there? Okay, I got a bronze, I guess it's bronze, kind of distressed looking color for an eyelet. let's pop that on. There, that looks awesome. Love it. Well, let's put Frank on. It's time for Frank to find a home. Blue. I should use Fabri-Tac maybe. I am trying to put it on burlap. So, let's make sure. See his little hand? I'm trying to make sure it looks like he's kind of has his fingers curled over the edge of the tape measure, I guess. Oh, he'll be close to the edge. I guess he. Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice this. Measuring tapes and men. We're all very impressed, Frank. Shame on you. I think we're just going to have to put him over a little bit. You know. Oh my gosh, it's like a subliminal message. Maybe like that. Oh, my face is red. I'm a little embarrassed. Sorry, guys. That was awful. Okay, just make sure he doesn't have the number 10 between his legs. Sharon, jeez. On you, Frank. Try to embarrass me in front of my friends. Okay, so paying attention to his hand. There. Hopefully the Fabri-Tac won't warp the paper too. So I'm still red. I'm embarrassed. Hold on, I have somebody coming in the room. Okay, sorry about that. My dad needs help with his Disney Plus. He needs me to come upstairs and help him figure out why he can't get it to work. So, I think Frank is dry. So this is something I wanted to try. I have this little piece of rope, and I was thinking about kind of unwinding it and making that for the tie. I'm sure I'll have to undo the plies because I can't put something that thick for a tie. I mean, I could, but it would look silly. I'm just going to unravel this a bit. And then try to unravel some of the strands off of there just so it's not so thick. I just think this curly ribbon, you know, because it has the curl in it, that might be kind of cool. Let's take lots of little fibers, pieces, threads, plies, whatever you call it. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, I love it. Okay, let's see here. Maybe I should try to thread it through on this side because they're still kind of together. I'm just going to thread it through. Try anyway. Okay. Then just bring it up like this and get another string to tie it around. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. All right. This is just some baker's twine. It's pretty thin. Okay, I don't want it to be too awfully long. So maybe this. Oh boy. I need something to hold it. See, this way, this black and white ribbon or string can hang down across the tag. Cute. I really love that. I knew I kept that rope for something. Look at that. Hey, I think we're done because I'm almost another half an hour into this video. So the whole thing's going to be close to an hour before editing. So I better just call it with this one. But I hope I gave you some good ideas, and it's so fun to play around with the Distress Oxides and inks, the sprays, the pads, the re-inkers. So, I mean, get your stuff out and have some fun. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for staying until the end, and I will see you when I create my next video. Bye, guys.